You're on candid camera. When you least selected, you're selected.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things she taught me, to be original. You know, not to do the same, not to dress the same way everybody else dresses, not to do everything that everybody else is doing, not to, you know, be what everyone else is. You have to be your own self, and you can't really ever abandon that.
Yeah.
When was the last time you did something for the first time?
Ooh. That's an intimate question, by the way. I'm not sure. Can I say that?
Let's go. So welcome to another episode of the Dope Designer Club.
Thank you for having me.
Today, we have a really dope dude here, Deki Laptosevic, Dan Laptosevic, my dear friend. He doesn't live here. He kind of lives here, but also lives in Serbia. We've known each other for a very long time. Personally, we worked together on one project once, a residential thing.
That was the beginning.
That was a very, very long time ago. In the meantime, Deki really grew his operation. He's a really big residential contractor. He is Bicontinental. So you're bi.
But that's not, yeah.
And I think there's like a lot of different themes here. He's also from Serbia, as am I. We recently saw each other at a dinner at my ex-husband's house, and we had such a great time.
By the way, he's my best man.
He's really good friends with my ex-husband. It's a very modern family.
Super modern family.
It's super modern.
Hey, no judging here.
And what I actually always liked about Dan is that, you know, he's not just a contractor. He is such a, first of all, he's a lot of fun, but he has like so many diverse interests, and I love that about you. Like, he loves fashion, he follows music, and he showed me some really cool DJs that I've never heard of. He like reads serious literature.
On occasion.
You know?
Not always.
And so I feel like every time I see you, you are always full of these surprises. But let's start with this. So recently, actually, you had a bad day. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay, tell us. It's also a therapy session.
But first, I had a few tequilas yesterday, and I was watching tennis. And then I had all these great plans for Monday. I'm going to kill it. You know, I'm going to get up early.
Because
and I'm
Nole
gonna
won
do this,
the U.S. Open. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I'm
so
going to do this.
Yeah. So you were going to
have
a great Monday.
Yeah, you have all those plans for Monday, you know, like great Sunday, and then I'm going to kill it. You know, I'm going to be on Monday. It's going to be a great day. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then a few tequilas down the line, you know, I went to bed, and then I woke up. And
you woke up in Vegas.
I actually woke up in my sister's house. She didn't let me drive. So I basically didn't do anything today. I was like, out of all those good plans and everything, you know, the day started just going wrong from early in the morning, from the wrong phone calls, from the wrong personal stuff, you know, anything that could have gone wrong today, it just went wrong. And at one point, I just gave up. On the day, I went home around 1 o'clock. I took a little nap. I watched some meaningless stuff on YouTube. And I just decided, you know, I'm going to forget this day. I'm going to go do interview with Branka. I have, you know, another tequila. I have more tequila, and then, you know, the day's going to get better.
Sometimes also, like, when things don't go our way, it's kind of God's way of saying, like, dude, just chill. You know?
Yeah, that's very spiritual.
It is.
Yeah, it is. And you have to, you know, with age, you have to kind of learn to slow down and to, you know, pick your battles. And, you know, you can just be okay with losing one day. As long as you know you'll make up your day tomorrow, you know, and you're going to do more. I can't say that I always do that, but it's a good practice and it's a good goal to have. So, you know, like sacrificing one day for your own being and for your own peace and you know, being yourself and
it's
being
like
relaxed.
a wellness break or whatever.
Monday was not a good day, you know, to sacrifice. I can tell you that. Because for work and for everything else, I just want to have that strong start.
Yeah.
I was pretty wimp.
I feel Do you want to hear what happened to me?
Yeah, sure.
So I am notorious for losing things. Like, I just couldn't find my phone like the minute we wanted to start, right? And I had a loaner. I don't know if you know. I don't know if I had the loaner
BMW
when I was. Yeah, I had the loaner. Don't give them the free advertising, dude. Like.
Oh yeah. You can erase this. Like they need advertising for me.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
yeah.
But
I do have one though.
I know. Well, we'll talk about our new money, the new money sort of tendencies.
Serbia,
But so I have this loaner on my keys. I have the AirTag, so I don't have my keys. So I couldn't find the freaking keys. I have to take my kid to school. She's having a stomach ache. We're late to school. I'm coming back. I literally want to kill somebody. I'm coming back in an Uber from school.
Wait, you took Uber?
We Ubered to school. I have a meeting. I need to get ready. My dogs are annoying me. The meeting took 3 hours. It was a 3-hour meeting. So at 12:30, I finally find the keys. Some random place, right? But I come back. I'm exhausted.
But look, I have to give you perspective. Imagine it was the Serbia 20 years ago, and there is no Uber.
There's no key. You
Look,
walk
there's
to
no Uber.
school.
At least you have an option.
It's
of getting
raining.
Uber.
The bus spills water on you,
exactly.
on your outfit.
And there's a dude that ate garlic.
Everybody's
the whole night.
everybody's how people are not friendly. In Serbia, people are not friendly.
Yeah,
I mean, when they know you, when you're family, or when you're a friend, they're really, but in a store, nobody's friendly.
You have to break the barrier with Serbians. There is they have this rough demeanor and they look rough, but once you pass that barrier with them, they'll give you anything. They're just sweet people and they full of soul and everything. But yeah, they can appear pretty grumpy in the morning.
Everybody's grumpy there. I remember a long time ago, I went there and I was just walking down the street and smiling, and they're looking at me like I'm a lunatic just for smiling, and I'm happy to be there because I miss it.
Well, look, there is something about that because here you can walk around the street and then people will give you smiles and they will ask you how you feel without real interest in knowing how you feel. You know what I mean? It's just a courtesy thing.
It's shallow. Yeah.
It's not shallow, but it's a courtesy thing. It's actually polite.
I like that, even if it's fake. I like fake politeness. I love it.
That smile is excellent. But in Serbia, they'll give you how it is. You know what I mean? They won't smile if they don't feel like smiling. It's not a bad thing. It's actually it's a cultural thing. If you grew up with that, you're used to that.
Yeah.
So I'm not having great expectations there of people saying
I still have great expectations.
I do from Serbia because it's growing. I think it's actually evolving and I think it's changing for better. As any other society, it's picking up all this bad pop culture and everything else that goes with that. But it's evolving. It's evolving together with the world, and that's something good. And actually, I want to be a part of that. So that's why am I between Serbia and Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's a great segue because that's my real first question. So recently you made this transition. So you were based in LA and your family was here for, I don't know, how long did you live? A decade or something?
No, my family here was...
you lived here for a long time,
at
least 10, 15, 20 years, right?
20 years,
And I knew you through many of those phases, right? And then recently you got married and your family was here. Your wife is from Serbia.
Yeah.
And recently, as in earlier this year, right? In February or March, you made a move. So you moved back to Serbia, but your work is still here. So first of all, how do you... This is also, I feel a new phase for you, right? You're still kind of navigating that.
It's a new old because I came to the United States when I was 25, so it's a new old. I just fell back into Serbia, but it was actually a perseverance decision. We came here with best intention. Una was little. I have a daughter. She's 3.5 years old. Angelica is the name of my wife, and we lived here. Actually, they came at the worst possible time. It was the beginning of COVID. It was 2020. We couldn't leave. Few months before that, my dad died. It was just messy time for us, and it prevented Angelica from developing into something. She couldn't go to ESL. She couldn't take any classes. Una couldn't go to kindergarten, so she was trapped. And in order to preserve her sanity, but secretly I wanted to do it too. There was a part of me that really wanted to go back and explore Serbia because each time I go there, I see Serbia is evolving in something better. So I want to be a part of that as well. But it's really hard living life here, abruptly just taking off and going to Serbia.
Right.
And I built myself here. I built my career here. I worked here. I worked hard for what I, what I became. And most of my success actually reflects into where I came from, a rural Serbia without anything, to making something out of myself. So if I were to measure my success in life, not in any material way, but just who I became from coming here as a young stud to today, like a really mature, good-looking man.
Deki is also very modest, humble.
Humble, yeah. I'm not sure about that. I can be flashy.
Yeah. We know that. So anyway, so you personally had like similar kind of things going on in the back of your mind before you guys like made this transition. So what is it like? Like, so you have a business here, you're starting something there. Like, what does that look like? Like, are you
Rough.
still figuring it out?
Rough.
Like, what stage are you in there?
So,
Because that's also, I think, something very unusual, unique, original. One of the things that I like, one of my points in this show is that you don't have to be like one thing, like one profession in life.
Well, I'm not.
You can be many things, and you're pushing it even further where you don't even have to live in one place. So, maybe elaborate on that.
It sounds glamorous, living bicontinental and being
Bi. You're bi.
being bi.
Being bi.
But it's not. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of changing time zones. It's a one life in Serbia with wife and daughter, and then it's a one life here, just being almost a single living professional. And it's rough in terms I have to reinvent myself in Serbia, and at the same time I still did not achieve pinnacle of my professional life here in the United States. I still think there is a lot of things for me to improve on, to give, to build upon, and at the same time I have to reinvent myself in Serbia and find a way to, to pay my bills and live and right. Finance life on two different continents, which is really hard, and it costs a lot of money. And it takes a toll in terms that, when I'm in Serbia and I'm not present here, it slacks at work. And then when I'm here, my focus is not 100% because I often think of the things that I miss there. So juggling between those two things, it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy, but, I'm managing. I'm pulling it.
Yeah. No, it's a lot. I mean, that's why I'm asking you, because it's like it seems like it would be.
Not to mention the cultural aspect of
that's
living
what I
in two
wanted
different.
to. That's actually what I think you talked about it when we started. So.
Well, before living in Los Angeles, I kind of learned to look at. So I imagine Serbia is a big. Like it's a Los Angeles, and then all the cities in Serbia are little neighborhoods in Los Angeles. So like city that I live in, it's like a little, and it has its own cultural thing. So there is a little groove there. There's a little vibe. I like being there. It's not bad. It's not as interesting as living in LA, but it's way more relaxed. So the aspect of being relaxed and being able to get on the street, walk around, have a coffee, have a beer, not having any kind of pressure of everyday living and living in a big city, opposed to being in Los Angeles and just living with all the, at this pace and this speed, which is exhausting sometimes. Exciting, but exhausting as well.
Yeah, I find myself, honestly, like, they talk about how, we're so busy, but we're actually like kind of, is it meaningful busy, or is it just like going through the motions of being busy? I struggle with that a lot, because I feel like sometimes I am busy, but am I achieving what I want in the kind of like time that I'm allocating to it? And people talk about it. It's like a thing, like where you're supposed to be more effective and less busy. So then it seems like even here in LA, we don't need to be as busy if we're effective.
Yeah, but there is this notion of pretending to be busy in LA, And it's always meaningful. It's always meaningful because you have to survive. So you have to somewhere separate things that you have to do because you have to pay the bills, and then things that you would really want to do. And but it doesn't pin out that way. It's usually most of the things that you really have to do, just like go about your everyday life, and then that
to the grocery store and like
Well, not even
kids
that. Like, when it comes to work,
or
because
working.
like, but going to store is meaningful as working. It's a part of life.
What I was gonna ask you, like, well, like, isn't everything meaningful? Like, like, yeah. I mean, my
No,
work
it's
pays
not.
my
Have you watched
bills.
Love Is Blind
I am not. I'm
on
not.
Netflix? That's not meaningful. It's interesting, but not meaningful.
Have a drink, dude.
Oh, drink.
So one of the things I think that I was going to ask you, I feel like every work is meaningful, and I feel like your work and your profession is definitely not something that you're doing just to pay the bills, right?
No, I'm not. I'm not. But it's
I
not
think
as.
you're really into it. I think, especially like, let's talk about this too. Like, you're a contractor. I'm an architect. Like, I feel like as a contractor, like you have like your aesthetic. Like, I really appreciate yours. You have style. you really do.
Hey.
And I want to say this too. Like, your sister Daniela, who I also know, she's an interior designer, and you guys work together
Yeah,
as
we do.
well.
Yeah.
So I feel like like what you do is definitely not something where you're like, oh, you're just here and running around and like trying to make money to pay the bills. I think that you have a great passion for what you do, and I think that
I do.
you kind of go beyond just being a contractor. Like, I feel like I would definitely like to have you on my team and collaborate with you to like just go through stuff. Like, even like, I think once we went shopping, like a long time ago we went shopping
We
together.
actually
That was
have
like so much
veto
fun.
on certain items.
Really? I
You
don't
remember I would not let you buy something. You wouldn't let me. You could have called veto. Like, you can't.
Yeah, that
buy
was like, and my friend Kat at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Like, it was the three of us. It was like so fun.
Yeah.
So
I remember.
anyways, like, I think that you have like, I think so much, like how you were saying, like your mission here is not over, but maybe you can talk about it more, like what your work and your passion for it.
Well, it's. I used to have actually way more passion for work before I found myself caught up with life, because back in the day I was going through a learning process, and then each project was a new challenge, and then I came to the point where I just became service industry, and I'm actually servicing needs of clientele, which does not give you a lot of creativity and a lot of and it's not what I would ideally love to do. I would love to be challenged on a higher level, but at the same time, I know I've been going back with this paying the bills and everything else, but there is people that work with me and dependent on me, so I have to accept things and things to do that I wouldn't ideally accept, but I just do them so I can maintain my business and everything else. However, going back to Serbia, I think I'm going to have more creative liberty because I can finance and do whatever I want myself. And that's one of the major reasons I would go back, because I can really do projects that I would have complete creative liberty and maybe show off everything that I learned through these years. Here, I can do that because there is a lot of input from clients, and how typically the clients, they say we hire you and we don't want to get involved, or like
but let me
let me tell you, let me tell you how to
let
do
me
things.
tell you.
I would have a soccer mom tell me how to do foundation.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So on that level, it's really, there's always some level
But
of
you never
control.
know. She could be like, a structural engineer. Like,
Might. I don't know.
Her background is in structural engineering, but then.
Yeah. I think I would recognize that. But so going back to Serbia, I think I'm going to have way more creative liberty applying everything I learned here, and because I think that Serbia is still struggling with the home fashion. And I'm actually interesting that you mentioned the fashion and music and everything, because I think all those things
It's lifestyle.
Yeah,
it's
but
a
they
lifestyle.
all they
It's
all
like
they all have a
elements.
mutual point. Yeah, music with fashion, and then fashion with food, and food with music, and all that.
Yes, I forgot the main thing. You
Which
finished culinary school.
Actually, that was in Belgrade. I did a culinary school I finished the high school in electromechanics, but then, as I always wanted to be a chef, my dad talked me into enrolling this culinary school in New Bogdan in Belgrade, and I did there was not online classes, but it was, how you call that when you go to a school, but it's not like you don't go to regular classes, you just take exams.
Got it.
I
don't know.
So yeah, that was I
That's
always
actually,
wanted to be a chef.
I think that's a very interesting detail, and I think I wanted to start with that, but there's just too much. There's too much material here, so I'm losing focus. But the culinary school is interesting because I feel like cooking, and my mom is like an incredible chef, and we made stuff together
Yeah,
a long
we did.
time
There was a
ago.
little
Like
competition there.
there was a
Ivar making, yeah.
competition. We made Ivar, and it was it was a blind tasting, and you won, I think.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Of course.
You won, I think. But like on the other hand, my mother, she's like really like I think actually she's really creative. This show is about creativity, right? Dope Designer Club is about creativity and about all the different ways we can be creative. But being creative in the culinary arts, I think, is so impressive because it's not just like putting ingredients together. It's also there's a community aspect to it, like in feeding people, and
It's a composition. But you know what? Actually, LA was really great for like making my palate broad. Like it expanded my palate and made me, like learn about new food. We can cut that, but
no, this is going in. Like
learn about new food and expand my palate. Eating all these different ethnic foods here in LA because there's a boiling pot of different ethnicities and good foods and everything. And then it actually helped me incorporate that into typical Serbian, soul food.
So it's like
make.
Fusion. So now you're doing fusion.
I'm doing fusion actually. I'm very proud of that. I'm experimenting and I think I can put flavors pretty well. I don't cook as much lately. I really don't because it's easier. I see my family so little, so when I see them, I would rather spend that time not cooking. We just go out and eat something or just do the take-in, like so we can spend more time together. But I'm planning on cooking, so I brought actually a few cookbooks to Serbia, like some Thai food and some other.
Yeah,
other
there's
things.
a really good restaurant actually. After this, we're going to pizza. You're coming,
but you're
right?
talking about like Thai
There's
place
a really
with
Thai,
alley
really.
place.
No, it's called. Oh, I forgot. But
Yeah, but I
it's
saw it
on
on
the
Action
way.
Bronson. Yeah, it was recently.
It's really good, and there's no reservations. You have to go in there just whenever.
Yeah, but you sit in the alley. Is that the place?
No, you sit on the street and inside. I don't think it's in the alley. Yeah.
I think it's in the alley. Pretty sure it's in the alley. But it's irrelevant.
It doesn't matter. But anyways, you have this culinary background, and I think that's really creative. And I think maybe is this where your creativity originated, do you think?
No, I don't actually.
Where do you think it originated?
From need to improvise.
Ah.
Yeah, in Serbia, growing up, you kind of like you don't learn many things, but you learn how to improvise because you don't have much. From early age.
Are you a Slumdog Millionaire? Is this the story?
Yeah, exactly. Because
I always say that I'm Slumdog Millionaire, but
because
nobody
I think-
believes me.
No, everything is applicable.
I'm too posh.
Everything you learn in your life is super applicable.
I love
From
that.
early age to later on. You can apply literally anything, and then through like that. The way we were improvising in Serbia from an early age of not being able to buy new shoes or anything, and you kind of tailor things to actually a later age, and because there was not really resources there, so you would really have to improvise. And I think not just for me, but for a lot of people from Balkan, that talent of creativity comes from improvising, and you learn to put things together, and that's the part of creativity. And then LA helped a lot because LA teaches you not to judge. LA teaches you, how to be how to be independent and how to rely completely on yourself and nobody else. And then LA teaches you about fashion, about music, about everything else. Here, but you really have to go deep into LA culture, and you have to relax yourself and just become part of the culture, whether that's a Latino culture or just people in Brentwood or black culture or hip hop culture, anything that goes, you really have to kind of participate, embrace, and then you really get the best of LA. If you don't do that, then LA is pretty superficial.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I had another guest also from Serbia, Milo is his name. You don't know him. And we talked about Switzerland, and there's a lot of very high art and culture in Switzerland, and where that comes from is inclusivity. What America is now to a lot of people from everywhere. How immigrants come because they're persecuted or have different religions. Similarly, way, way, way back before America, that was Switzerland. And that was one of the takeaways I think that I got from his interview, is how inclusivity breeds creativity. So I think that's a very interesting point that you make.
It
about
does, because it's almost forced
yeah.
to be creative. When that, I don't know. Really
And I think also like we learn from like the richness of all of these different people and their experiences, and I think that like it's just more information too, that you're
It is.
exposed to.
And at one point you realize how little you know. And
Yeah.
that's a part of growing as well. I was happy, to reach my mature age in Los Angeles, and then it helped me grow on so many levels. And it's part of being creative is part of growing, but part of growing is part of learning.
Mm-hmm.
So LA was great for that, and but now I'm at the phase that I did not achieve a pinnacle, but single life and married life is completely different in LA, and you cannot explore as much here when you have a family, because it's pretty hard. There's too many things to do, too many places to drive, so you become like a home
Like
slice.
a robot.
Yeah, you become
Like
a
me.
home
You
slice.
become like me, basically.
Yeah. Then you go to these bullshit parties when everybody meets with, like couples and kids, and we talked about weather and all this kind of like, stuff that is really...
I disagree. I have some pretty fun parent friends that are like
Well, try not to drink on those.
kind of like what?
Try not to drink on those parties.
What do you mean? Like
Be sober completely. It's not really...
oh, well,
No, it's just joking.
well, you have a point. You have a point there.
I mean, you have to pretend on a certain level, because...
But I feel like what you're saying also is like, oh, parenting is boring. Actually, no, it's not. Parenting is a lot of fun, and actually,
Well, I didn't say that, by the way.
you can't. I mean,
Angelica, I didn't say
I'm not the greatest example of that, but I'm trying. I'm really trying not to be like, like doing the same thing like a robot. But anyways,
AI.
we gotta take a
Now
little
it's
break.
AI. It's not-
Dude, stop talking. We have to take a break.
We'll take the break.
We actually do, because we take a break at 30 minutes.
It's hot, though, by the way.
I know.
Am I hot?
Well, I was saying. I think the second segment will be more just like drinking.
Yeah.
It'll be drinking and just like whatever. Hey, duet. We should have our duet also.
Is it a Islands
in the Stream, of course. So I guess we were talking about your background and stuff, and
Dolly Parton is inspiration for me, by the way.
I like her too.
I love her attitude towards life, just to
Yeah.
be mentioned.
I do too. I think she's also very religious.
Not sure about that. I mean,
She's
like, I don't know
very
that,
religious,
like,
yeah.
but I love. It's funny that she's religious, but she looks very artificial, I have to say. I mean, in terms of.
At one like a news conference, they asked her, like, are you, what do you think about like being a sex symbol? She's like, I try really hard not to be a sex symbol.
Really?
And then everybody laughs.
You're like so opposed to that, yeah. But actually living in LA, you kind of learn that people are not defined. You would really you put a predicament of before you know somebody just based on their look. That's Serbian thing, I think.
You know what? Also, like Dolly Parton does look artificial, but like she grew up in an environment where that was considered beautiful, and to her that's beauty. Like even though it's like, and she's aware of it. Like
So
she
let's
said,
not
like
use the term artificial. It should be she looked improved.
I mean, it's sort of like this. It's a prostitute like look, like
I
the
wouldn't
blonde
say that.
and.
You can edit
Well,
that,
she
by the
says
way.
it. She says it. She says it.
I didn't say that.
She says it. I mean, it's okay, but like that's like
I would say
that
her
was.
cleavage is deeper than usual.
She doesn't have a cleavage. It's like just that's her shape, like. But anyways, like to her, that's like her only point of reference for beauty. So I guess like where we're from, like in a way, culture defines our standards like that. So for her, that's what it was.
Because that's a little Americana right there. Because there is a standard of beauty, like, but that's that Marilyn Monroe, Anne Nicole Smith, and few of those girls. That's just the Americana standard of beauty but only on one cultural aspect. Because there is so much other beauties here, like. Throughout all the ethnicities and culture and everything else, but I love, and I start to begin to understand that Americana culture as well. Not just here in LA and the culture in LA, because it's far removed from whatever else is going on in the United States.
Yeah.
So, people like that help you understand that a little bit better, and I actually like it.
I like that actually you bring that up because, we are in LA. This is Dope Designer Club. And it's a very specific, like we have our own, like, little microcosm, cultural microcosm happening here. And I think that the shallowness is a part of that. Like the plastic, fake is a part of it.
It is definitely in LA. But then we also have that, like me and you, we have that Serbian subculture as well, So...
like, I guess what we have in common, too, is, like, I got to tell you, like, when I go to Serbia, I have very close friends who think I'm Americanized. But, like, then here, like, people are, I still have an accent, like, and I come across as, like, maybe not American. And so, like, I feel like you are also kind of living between these two worlds a little bit. I like that. I like that because it gives me, like... I think that the more of these worlds you have, the richer your life experience is. But what is your perspective? Do you feel like...
Well, I can see that when it comes to you because you're a little bit more polished than me, So I can see how people in Serbia would think you're a little more Americanized, but I think that they...
But not necessarily in a positive way, though. Like,
but you I mean, when it comes to you, you kind of had a little... catharsis thing going on.
Catharsis. How do you... Catharsis.
Catharsis. Yeah. I had to say that in Serbian because it's really hard for me to say in English. Happening when it comes to Serbian thing. I think you were a little bit more,
Oh, you think I'm reinventing my
No, I think you begin to embrace the quality of being,
Well, that's something that happened through my daughter, really. Like, there's a lot of things that I didn't even know about my own culture. Until she got into it, and she's actually more into it than even me. Like, she's really into it.
So one of the questions you want to ask me is how did I, what I learned what is applicable between Serbian culture and American culture in terms of building and creativity and everything else. And even before coming to United States, I didn't pay much. I wasn't observant. I lived there, so I wasn't really observant to Serbian culture. And then I actually, coming here and living here for a long time, I start being a little bit more observant of a Serbian culture, and I start noticing the qualities more, and I start noticing, the good things about about the buildings as well. Simplicity in the building, simplicity of living, and then how those ethnic motives are applicable to, building here, and that was a great thing. And then also I learned here how that this fashion is actually applicable there, because I think there is a growing community to a home fashion in Serbia, and I think it needs to be attended.
What do you mean by home fashion? Like accessories, or like what do you mean? So, home fashion.
So how I perceive building and creativity and design, it's same as fashion in industry, in clothing or music. You have to be creative. It's an art, and the people here, they pay much attention to their living style. It's very important, actually.
Oh, you think they don't pay?
Here, they do pay a lot of attention. Yeah, they do.
So
it's very important how you live here. It's very important how you present yourself. It's actually more important how you're going to present yourself at your home and how your home is going to look than really what type of the car you drive or what type of the clothing you wear. And that's so that's what I meant by home fashion. So anything that we do, that we build, that we design, that we create, it's a fashion. Right. It is a fashion. It represents, and anything that represents, to me, it's a fashion. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm calling it home fashion. What we do. Mm-hmm. It sounds better, by the way, though, too. Mm-hmm. And I think there is a growing community in Serbia that really.
It's a growing movement to.
Yeah, people that really are stirring away from from the just superficial look and everything else and misrepresentation of their lives, truly to. Building up a really good lifestyle and having their home beautiful, because spending more time at home with the people that matter. Then in that sense, I think Serbia is slowly awakening, but not at the part where I live. It's more like in the capital.
We actually talked about that. We had a very similar conversation with. It was a couple. They were here, Jade and Danny, and they. By the way, actually, are you free on Thursday? I'm going to a Herman Miller event. You should come. Yeah.
Is that the same place at the...
It's like a cocktail thing. Yeah. No. It's in Culver City. You should come. But anyways, the Jade and Danny, they sort of find vintage furniture and they refurbish it, rehabilitate it, and they have a very good like take on like interiors. And we talked about how it's important to, you know, curate your space versus like just like buy stuff. Like it has to be like lived in, and it has to be like a reflection of your own history.
So true. So true.
And I feel like that's the same thing you're saying.
So, when you said that, it's interesting because I've been thinking about that lately a lot. You build a new home and you want to remodel, and you want everything to be new and remodeled, and the day that you move in, it needs to look like you want it to look. But it's not, because it's just it's
a shell.
Because the home is actually, it's abstract idea, you know, and it can be built. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, it has to have that input. You know, it can be silly though too. You know, it doesn't have to be fashion. It doesn't have to be.
It can be a hairy Mona Lisa.
Hey, hairy Mona Lisa it's dope. That's a dope designer club. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Hairy Mona Lisa is excellent.
Well, let's give them I have this like hairy, like it's a furry Mona Lisa. So, Deki.
Yeah, they
like
can do a shot of that a little bit later. So I think implementing those. Everything, you know, even little tchotchkes from your trips and everything else, and implementing it in the home. I think it takes time to create a home, you know, unless you have unlimited resources of buying every little element that you need to create.
But I think there needs to be time. Time is the secret ingredient. I think when you design a house, and I think this is where a lot of architects and interior designers kind of like really fail, is doing it all at once. Yeah, it looks good for a picture, for Architectural Digest, but is it really authentic, and is it really meaningful to the person that lives there? I think there's two kinds of people. I think there's people who, you know, they can live in this kind of artificial, and it doesn't matter to them. You know,
that's why I'm calling it home fashion.
But like to someone like me, like I aspire to like total minimalism, but I call my style failed minimalism, because I totally fail at that, because my lifestyle is very dynamic. Like I buy things, I like art. I have a kid, you know, so I can't really, you know, that's not me. That wouldn't be me.
It's impossible.
My brother, on the other hand, I actually redesigned his house, and it's ultra minimalist. It's like one room has like a sofa and a chair. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like just like super.
Is it Zen?
And guess what? He lives like that. He hates it. You come in there with stuff. He's like, no, just stick it away. It's like, it bothers me. I have a headache. That's what he likes. And that's a reflection of who he is. So actually how we designed it is exactly who he is.
True, but I think the design always.
And then there's like a lot of Legos.
No, but it always has to contain a element of practical living as well. You know, you can't design home just for looks. It needs to have an element of practical living. You know, and it needs to serve family that lives in that house and function, and it has to be filled with elements. You know, minimalism is great as idea, and it's a really good looking on photo. And I love it too. And its simplicity, it's like sushi. It's a piece of fish and rice, and it's perfect. It's tasty, it's fresh, it's everything. But you know, it doesn't fulfill you like a burger.
It's not a steak.
Like a black egg. It's not a steak.
It's not a steak.
Occasionally you have to have a steak, you know. So finding the right blend between those two things, I think it's right. But no, I was saying the home fashion that's why I'm saying, you know, like creating home as a trend, as a fashion, you know, and then it replicates itself. And then each house I go, actually recently I've been using a lot of materials from one house into another house, because everybody's
the same.
It's white oak. It's white oak. It's a white.
That's the other thing too. It's like
French flooring.
Yeah, everyone's doing the same thing, and that's the same thing in fashion, I guess. Like, I guess like again.
It's predictable.
Let's talk about my mother again. Like
we can talk about your mother. No, somebody's having mom issues. Okay.
I mean, she's the only one that watches this too, so it's like
it's okay.
It's like
she'll be happy
might
to
as
see
well.
it. Yeah,
might as well.
It's okay. He'll pick up after this.
No, but seriously, like, you know, I think it's also very important to be original, because I think being original, you have to learn about yourself.
Is your mom original?
I think she is, yeah. I think that's one of the things she taught me, to be original. You know, not to do the same, not to dress the same way everybody else dresses, not to do everything that everybody else is doing, not to, you know, be what everyone else is. You have to be your own self, and you can't really ever abandon that.
Yeah, that's really, really good, because I really like parents that push a individuality instead of a
That's
ambition.
why I live alone. That's
No,
why I
like,
live alone.
I think it's healthier than pushing ambition on your kid. You know. I think it's
absolutely,
like being,
absolutely.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but your mom is the typical Serbian mom. Something that, you know, like.
Do you think so? I think my mom is very unique. Also.
We all think our moms are unique. I do think that's mom. I think you're unique. But it's a.
Here's the moms.
Yeah, here's the moms. But it's actually. You can sequence a lot of things that, you know, typical Serbian mom would do, from cooking to the way they treat you, the way they raise you. So, I mean, she's not typical in a way. She's probably super unique for you. But like, I can see the elements of, you know, Serbian mom there.
Yeah.
Because I spent some time with her, cooking and talking, and
Yeah.
she's a buddy, you know. She's like,
she is a buddy.
she's like, oh, like
Some
little
of,
rakia shot, and like, let's do some.
Some of my brother's friends call her bro.
Yeah, she's a bro. She's a bro.
She's a
definitely
bro.
a bro mom. You like those moms because they're always the refuge. You know, when you're growing up, they're like a refuge for all the other friends.
You know, did you watch Mean Girls? She's like, I'm not a regular
Mean
mom.
Girls,
I'm a
yeah.
cool mom.
I haven't.
No? Okay.
Yeah, but
Mika
I
knows.
actually watched a Housewives of New York with my sister, and there was
really?
countess
So yeah, tell me about your collaboration with your sister. How does that like working?
It's really
Especially
hard working.
now.
It's I mean, I love my sister, and I think she's one of the greatest people ever. She's a way better person than me, smarter though too, and but collaboration, it's really hard because we don't keep boundaries. We can bicker like brother and sister. You know, working with somebody, you should keep certain boundaries. You should never cross those boundaries, because it should be professional. After all, you can, you know, on occasion you can chill and you can talk to your clients and you can even have a drink, but you know, or whoever you work with, but it should never cross that boundary of respect. You know, and working with sister, we know sometimes we don't understand each other, and then we will not hold back. Because usually we hold back with somebody else, but with your own, you don't. With your own blood, you don't do that. So, and she's very protective, by the way. When we do things together, she's super protective of me. She always makes sure that I don't break my teeth. She's always behind there. You know, I cannot say that for myself. I'm wrapped in my own mind doing things, and I'm pretty practical about working. And
I want to say also, Daniela has a great sense of style. And
she
I think
does.
her style
I learned a lot
is
from
very,
her, though. Yeah.
I think her style is like very, very timeless, which is like my word. Like I use it all the time.
It is. You know, I can see I can draw a lot of parallels between two of you when it comes to style. You know, they're not the same, but you know, like they're definitely. You know, there is a roundup there. You know, and
Danielle is the other person that watches this show.
Yeah, so great. You love this stuff. Yeah, but working with her, yeah, it's great, you know, and we misunderstand each other sometimes, but, you know, after all, you know, when we see what we did together, we look back and it looks great, and, you know, I'm so proud of her, and I know.
But you enjoy that collaboration as well? Like,
I do, but she's one of those people, I have to say this, by the way, she would ask for my opinion, and, you know, when I tell her my opinion, she was like, oh my gosh, I don't know why I'm asking you, you know. So, like, I really don't engage in saying too much except doing what she wants me to do.
I see.
Because she has this saying, there is a reason why I'm designer and you're a builder.
Aww.
Yeah, it's like like a joke. It's not. She doesn't mean it.
I see.
She actually believes in my taste.
Very good. No, I think you have a good sense of style too. But I wanted to point out.
Yeah, but a lot of that I kind of picked up from her. Also, my dad was really same. He was pushing. He was always dressed well. You know, if you come to the party with your jacket, go back home with your jacket. Don't crawl. Don't always like be proud.
Don't crawl.
He didn't like that. So he will always like buy good shoes. Don't be afraid to spend money for clothing. You know, and I never was really. Even when I didn't have much, I would just spend. Yeah.
I appreciate that about you. You were always
Are we
very
gonna get demonetized?
Yeah. No. We like it. So tell me, like, speaking about your dad, I'm sure he was like a great mentor to you. Like one of the questions that I love asking is like if you can remember like or point out a mentor that you had in your life or your career that left an impact on you, and like why?
Oof, that's a hard question.
Really? Like your dad, it seems like was.
No, he was in certain, I was lost for a long time, honestly. Like I was.
And now you're found.
I'm
I like
found.
having this mic because then it prompts me to say,
Am I far,
and
by the
now
way?
you're found.
Am I far from the mic? No, I'm
And
good.
now
Yeah,
you're
no,
found.
I was, he did have a profound impact on me, but, I left when I was 25, so it was not all the way through when I needed it. And actually, he left when I was 18. He was here in the United States, and it was not complete exchange. But the lessons I learned from him were pretty important in social life and in how to hold up yourself and, work ethics and all that stuff. And honesty, most of all, he was like, you have to be honest no matter what. It's better just to be
I love
honest.
that.
And, that was one of the biggest lessons I learned from him. And that's a really applicable lesson.
That honesty is so applicable to
It's
design,
foundation.
business, relationships. Honesty is like probably one of my top.
It's
things.
foundation
Yeah.
because it's
It is foundational.
it,
yeah.
it is it's be yourself. Be yourself, and then somebody down the line will recognize your quality.
Yeah.
And even if that quality is just being honest, they will recognize that honesty.
Also,
and it's a great tool.
Also, if you're a piece of shit and somebody still loves you, because of your piece of shitness, then it's true. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a little more a manipulation type of thing. If you're a piece of shit and somebody loves you, it's like you're probably manipulating that person to
No.
for
But
them to
what
love
I
you.
mean is that, like, what I really mean is that, like, a lot of times we go through life, we're kind of on the surface and we're portraying or pretending to be something so that people would like us. I think this is very common. Have you seen Beef?
I do that all the time.
Have you seen Beef on Netflix?
No, I didn't. No.
Oh, you should watch it.
But in any, like-
It explores that theme. And so when you show your true self, and sometimes we're not perfect. There's ugly parts of us. And that's like when people start leaving, but people who stay, even with the ugly parts of us, that's real. That's
only
like,
by the way, that's only mom.
well, it's
Mom is the
rare.
only person who has
It's
it, like-
rare. It's rare.
But even look,
But,
if
you know.
you go on a date, you're gonna flaunt your best self. You
Of
you
course.
have to throw a little bit of a game.
For a
you
month.
know, yeah.
For a month, you'll do that. Right?
Yeah, for a month, and
We're
then
like,
they will
"Hey."
discover it through you. So they're like,
Okay.
"Fuck." Yeah, but like you have to pretend sometimes. It's healthy pretending. It's the same as
like
like
role-playing.
looking yourself in the mirror and singing something.
Yeah.
Like you pretend that you're that person singing that song, and it's actually it's part of being creative. It's not bad. Pretending sometimes. It shouldn't be a habit, and it shouldn't be used to progress. But in certain occasions, you can kind of like be a little bit superficial and pretend a little bit. It's all good. I don't
Yeah.
mind that. I think
It's
good.
very wise. Actually, you are right.
Yeah,
You're right.
and I do pretend sometimes. I have to say that.
So what do you pretend to be? What is your go-to?
Worldly.
Well, you are worldly.
Well, I did. Actually, LA's. I learned 2 languages, English and Spanish, really well.
Yeah,
and
you
that,
speak
that made
Spanish,
me a
yeah.
little bit more worldly. And that was actually one of the biggest schools. It's like you would go to college to learn languages, and I picked it up on the street here, basically between my workers and myself. And that's a good thing. That contributes to the worldly. I can improvise better. But-
Tequila also.
Yeah, tequila for sure. I love tequila, by the way. It's a discovery for me.
Yeah. In Serbia,
By
there's
the
not a
way,
lot of tequila.
the whole Mexican culture was such a huge discovery for me. I didn't know much about it, but then I really begin to appreciate the simplicity of life and how they breed that simplicity, and they don't.
They're always happy. I've noticed that.
Yeah,
They're like
yeah.
very happy. They don't have these bad days like where they want to kill people like me. Like they really enjoy life. They have.
But it's real. They don't pretend, by the way. It's real.
It
It's
is
real.
real. It is real. You're right.
I noticed a lot of people, a lot of races, a lot of ethnicities. They love to pretend, and they love to flaunt something they're really not. In terms of even pretending, whether it's riches or fashion or whatever it is.
Yeah,
like,
or
but,
status or whatever.
like Latinos are real.
Yeah.
Like they will, especially like because, and I'm saying only this, I'm taking liberty of saying this only because I work with a lot of guys from Mexico. In construction, it's mostly people from Latin America. So I get to know that culture, and that's the only reason why I'm taking liberty of discussing any cultures, by the way.
Right.
But yeah, and I love that simplicity, and I kind of learned
And
to
it's something
appreciate.
that we learned from that, coming from a totally different.
Yeah, it
culture.
doesn't have to be large. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be megalomaniac, to for things, and it can be also quality, because you recognize that in having a large family or having a good barbecue or having, like few modelos and just watching soccer or whatever, it's good. It's
Yeah.
good. It's the same amount of fun, if not even more. So
Dude, do
yeah.
you know that it's been almost an hour? You see how quickly it goes?
I believe me.
For in the end, are we gonna do the duet or not?
I really didn't drink my. Didn't really drink my.
Well, anyways, like we're reaching the end. So my final question for you is this: when was the last time you did something for the first time?
Ooh. That's an intimate question, by the way. I'm not sure. Can I say that in camera? It's applicable to many areas of life. I pledge the fifth.
Like the.
I pledge
Alright,
the fifth.
let's
Is
leave
it
it
first
at
or
that.
fifth? I plead the fifth.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in work, I do that all the time. I'm just joking, by the way. In work, I do that all the time.
That's
There's
good.
a lot of
That's
times when I never did something, but it would be challenging for me, and they would ask me if I ever did it, and I would pretend, actually. I would say, yeah, I did, of course. Me? Many times. And then I would really engage into learning how to do that, and I would pull it off every
love
time.
that.
I would just kill it.
Yeah.
I would prep myself so well that I would kill it. And in work, I do many things for the first time, from implementing some weird piece of furniture, or like doing foundation in the sand, or doing retaining wall, or like whatever it is. Like it would be the first time.
You know what we should do for the first time? I think in the back, up in the hill, way in the hill, we should make that, like, remember in Bali, that DJ we saw?
Oh yeah.
With the box.
Yeah, Omnia Hotel.
With the box and the glass ceiling. The mirror ceiling, actually. Remember that?
Yeah.
We should do that.
It's a bedrock, by the way.
Yeah, we'll pile it.
Okay, we'll pile the shit
$500,000, but yeah, we'll do
okay.
it.
We can have a DJ for it.
For the $500,000.
Yeah. I think it's maybe
No,
better
I think
resourcing
that's
than
great.
$500,000 going to Bali.
I think that's great, because this question is really about, like, kind of being creative, and I think you answered it perfectly.
Yeah. If you don't do things every day for the first time, then your
Then
life
it's
is not that good.
Yeah. Anyways, well, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks for
Thank you for having
stopping
me, by the way. I'll go back
It's
to
so
tequila.
This was so great, and I told you,
Yes, I
like,
enjoyed it.
it
Actually, I
really
wasn't
flew by.
expecting to. I
It
was
really
like,
flew by.
I have to do this.
I know. It's not.
It's
CNN.
hard for the first time, But you're a friend, and I really want to
Well,
do it.
this is the first time. See?
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
There you
You
go.
answered yourself.
There you go.
Thanks.
Cool. Come, Nikki. Come chill with us. Nika's gonna say it.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah. Yay! We did it.
Thanks, guys, for patience.
Awesome. Let's. I need more tequila.